In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of different things you can do with Python on Replit. To get started, first find this button that says Create REPL, and then select Python and name your REPL if you want, and then click Create REPL. And then you can just start writing your code right here, or check out one of the examples. If you type in print hello world, and then click this run button, or press command return or control return, you should see the output here. And by the way, I'm going to assume in this video that you're at least a little bit familiar with Python. So if you want us to make a beginner Python tutorial, let us know. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is what happens when you define some variables here. So let's say a equals 1 and b equals 2. And of course, we can print a here. When you run this code, you see hello world and 1 as expected since we're printing a. But the interesting thing here, and what's unique about Replit, is that you can type in a here or b here to get the values of these variables. So what that means is that when you run this code, the state in which your script finishes at the end of your code is preserved in the console right here. Now, what if you start writing your code and you find that there's a bug somewhere and you want to debug it? Well, there are two main different ways of doing it, so let me show you both. The first way is sort of a standard Python way, and that is to just say import pdb Python debugger and then pdb.set trace. So if you run your code, you should be able to stop right here. And then if you put, let's say, print a, you should see that the value of a. And if you put print b, you should see something like this because this line of code hasn't been run yet. So that's one way. Another way is to use our built-in debugger. And to use that, just go right here, this button in the sidebar, and then set a breakpoint just like that, and click Run in the Debugger tab. And with that, you can see that right now we have stopped at this line of the code, and you can click Next Step to go here, and you see that A has been defined, and then if you click Next Step again, you see that B now has been defined because this code was just run. Okay, and what if you want to make your own custom Discord bot with Python? Well, one way to do that would be to use one of the templates that are available. So from the home page, click Create REPL, and then look for Python Discord bot starter, and then click Create REPL. And once you've done that, you should be able to see some template code here. And if you start writing your own Discord bot, one thing you'll notice is that you'll need to provide the Discord API key. And to do that, we recommend using this secrets tab right here. So you can define the key and the value here. For the key, let's say it's going to be Discord secret key, and the value will be your secret key. So for now, I'm just going to say this is secret. And once you add it, you can import it with these lines of code. You can just click these insert buttons right here. And if you print the key, you should be able to see what's inside the key. And if you define your secret environment variable this way, other people won't be able to see the key, even if the REPL itself is public. So a Discord bot is just one example of what you can build with Python on Replit, but let me show you a few more. To do that, I'm going to use this other REPL called Getting Started, and I'm going to put a link to this REPL in the description below. The first example I want to show you is making and hosting your own website. To do that, you can copy and paste code that I have here, or you can just use one of the examples. So if you click this code in the example, you should see something like this. And once you run it, you should see a view like this. So what we're doing here is we're using Flask to create our own web server with the host being 0.0.0.0 and port 8080. And we're using these host and port because that's how you can host any website on Replit, whether you're using Flask or something else. And here we're defining a function that's going to return this string hello world at this root route. And that's why we see this here. And if you want to test a different route, let's say /hello2, that's going to return hello world 2, then you can edit your code and then pop this out with this button, open in a new tab, and then test that route, hello2. The next thing I want to show you is how to do some scraping with Python. Scraping is a way of getting data from a website or interacting with a website using your code. So first, copy and paste this code to main.py, and then run it and see what happens. Once your script finishes running, you should be able to see a view like this. So you can see that this is an actual browser, and it's being controlled by Python. And just like I showed you earlier, I can jump into the console and interact with this variable that I defined in the code. So if you type in driver.find element by link text shop now, you can find this button using the link text shop now. And then if you do this dot click, you can actually click this button in the browser. And you can do things like collect data or interact with it or even make orders if you want. So feel free to play around with this code. This code is using this library called Selenium, which is pretty useful. And I'm going to put a link to a video where I show you how to use this particular library on Replit in the description of this video. Now, the last example I wanted to show you is this game I made with Python, which you can play in the console right here. So I just copied and pasted the code in main.py, and once you click play, you should see something like this. You can play the game just like that. And just in case you're curious about it, I'm going to put a link to a video about how I made this particular game in the description of this video as well. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about is how to run a Python file that's not main.py. To do that, to show you how to do that, first let me create a file called main2.py, and then I'm gonna put print hello from main2 here. And to run this file, you can create a file called .replit, and then inside this file, you can just write run equals double quotes python main2.py. And this way, when you click the run button here, it runs main2.py. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. And if you want us to make a tutorial video on anything specific we talked about today, for example, how to make your own Flask Python website, or even how to make your own terminal game, let us know, and we'll see what we can do about that. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.